Welcome to Arcade Audio.
Ladies and germs, welcome to Dilettante Ball. I'm Johnny.
I'm Spencer.
Here on Dilettante Ball, we go on Wikipedia.
We quick random article.
And we talk about it.
Yeah, we do. Johnny, I got good news for you for once.
Okay, for once. God, please, thank you.
we got a good little review here on the old iTunes Apple Podcast Network.
Okay.
This is from our friend Levi Tompkins.
And thank you also to the Apple Podcast Network for freeing us from Arcade Audio. Finally, we're on a good, real network.
Finally. Levi Tompkins' review says, "The road less traveled."
Yeah.
And this is just the Robert Frost poem in full. From now on, if we can get some reviews that are just nice poetry, I would really like that. Maybe some nice E. Cummings or.
Have you? I always had a hard time getting into poetry.
I never tried to get into it, but I think I could get into it.
I feel like I could now.
Yeah. In high school, no way.
But then also part of me is like, I bet I could write poetry.
Oh, I know I can't.
Not with that attitude, certainly.
You're right. Well, let's see what Levi has to say. Maybe we can draw some inspiration. In life, you often find the best things by accident. When you focus on your goal too much, you miss all the amazing things along the way. These two don't have that problem. They choose a thing to talk about and almost immediately begin to talk about whatever else happens to occur to them, and what occurs to them is often incredibly funny. Earnest, absurdist observations that never fail to bring a smile to my face.
Oh.
What a nice thing to say, Levi.
Yeah, that's a very nice. Thank you very much. That's a very nice.
We do like earnest. Scared stupid. Scared
saves
stiff,
Christmas.
Scared of Christmas.
Saves Halloween.
Scared of the jail.
Scared of the jail.
That was a good one. I like that one. Ernest Scared of the Jail.
How many Ernest movies were there?
Oh, a dozen or so.
Yeah. You know.
Which is a pretty good amount
for
what kind of plot? Yeah.
Dumb man.
For you know where he started, right? Just doing
weird local commercials.
Yeah.
Like, hey, want to buy a phone book? Like, what? That'd be like I mean, that'd be crazier than a feature-length Noid film. That'd be crazier than a caveman TV show. You know, one of those is real.
Yeah.
I bet had they not so thoroughly avoided the Noid, there would have been a movie. Has there ever been a movie based on
the Noid,
or just any like marketing thing?
Oh gosh, let me think.
I mean, the only thing like that I can think of is the Cavemen TV show.
Yeah. As far as a movie goes, man, that's a great question. I'm sure there must be, like a Chester Cheetah, made for TV movie. He had a Super Nintendo game.
Then there was the 7-Up Nintendo game.
Yeah. I mean, was there not a Noid video game?
There had to be.
Yeah. Right. Cool Spot's the 7-Up guy, right? Okay.
You know what a great video game is? That's sort of similar.
Super Mario Sunshine.
I never played that.
Pretty good.
Moonwalker.
What is
the Michael Jackson Sega game?
Okay.
That game fucking rules.
I don't know what that is.
You like take off your hat and throw it at people.
I've seen this. I have actually seen it.
It's very good. And you know what game?
So you basically were playing as Odd Job from Goldfinger.
Yes.
Okay.
You know what game is very bad? The Home Alone 2 Nintendo game.
Oh,
it's
no.
very hard and very bad.
Can you throw your hat? What made you think of that? Is Macaulay Culkin in the Michael Jackson game?
Whoa. That'd be a crazy crossover.
That would be a crazy crossover.
It's crazy crossover.
Did you see the Macaulay Culkin AMA on Reddit?
No.
It was not the. I didn't love it, but a lot of people did, which is cool. But he had one question that was funny. Someone said like, "What's the most memorable thing that you did with Michael Jackson, on his estate or whatever?" And he was like, "One time I crashed my golf cart into his golf cart, and he called me an applehead." And I was like, "That's very nice."
Oh my god, that's so fucking funny.
Applehead.
Man. Even if it was just one time I crashed my golf cart into his, and it was just like a crazy thing.
It's already pretty funny. It's a funny visual.
Yeah. Oh, you applehead.
You applehead.
Man. What's he been doing?
He's been dead for a while.
No, not him.
I don't know.
Since like Saved, that's like the last thing I remember him doing.
I think he can kind of just do whatever.
Probably. He's cashing those Ziggies.
Yeah, for sure. Those Ziggies are big time being cashed. He's been in a couple movies here and there.
Still shaven. Still. Have you ever used aftershave?
Never in my life. Don't know what it's for.
Me neither. And
I wonder if our generation is never going to use it because of that movie.
It scared us.
It scared the piss out of me.
I think really it wouldn't burn him because he didn't actually shave, correct?
That's a good point. I don't know.
Did he use a razor on his hairless face?
I don't know. I don't remember that scene well enough.
Me neither.
All I remember is the aftershave slaps. Maybe
he would have,
like,
if he was really shaving, he would have cut the shit out of his face.
Oh yeah,
because he was 8 or something.
Yeah, well, I mean, he could have got lucky.
Yeah, I guess you don't make a movie about a kid who ain't lucky, you know.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't get any luckier than that. Except for that time when he was walking home from the grocery store and his bag's broke and all his things spilled on the sidewalk. What?
I just pulled up the article.
What's the random article?
Oh, it's so good. I'm so happy.
All right.
And you will hate it.
Oh, no.
Hold It Against Me.
No.
Hold It Against Me is a song performed by American legend, treasure, and angel.
It doesn't say any of that.
Britney Spears for her 7th studio album, Femme Fatale. It was written and produced by Max Martin. Oh, Dr. Luke.
You don't like Dr. Luke.
No, you know who that is, right?
It's my least favorite character on Hey Dude.
That's...
I don't know.
I am almost certain that's the producer who with Kesha, yeah. Yeah. Well, that sucks.
You were so excited.
I was. I really like the song. The song was originally offered to Katy Perry.
Man, that's so stupid. Like, here's this generic song anyone could do. Who wants it?
Yeah. I don't know. It doesn't bother me.
I don't know why it does bother me. I don't know why it does. Because, like, really, like, who cares about anything?
Right. Well,
at the end of the day.
yeah. But what if it was the same person? I only write songs for Britney Spears.
Mm-hmm. Well, no. My problem that would be better. I would prefer that.
Yeah.
Like Elton John has that guy.
Exactly. That's what I was getting at.
But it still does just rankle a little bit because it feels dishonest. Maybe just to me or to my kind of way of thinking. But it's like you had the Beatles. Well, John Lennon wrote all the songs. Like, he is, Bob Dylan is writing all his songs.
Sure.
Like, not that they're better, but...
A bunch of other Beatles got credit for those songs, though.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean,
Horned, Hercules. Name another Beatle, please.
Scarab.
Thank you.
Well, they all said Lennon McCartney.
Yeah.
But, I have this great book that I've probably talked about before, but it takes, like, every interview any of the Beatles and anyone else even closely related to them has ever done. And, like, deciphers the full instrumentation of every Beatles song.
Okay.
And it gives an estimated breakdown of authorship.
Oh yeah, you've mentioned that. That's really
so cool. So some are like totally just all Lennon, totally all McCartney.
Sure.
But they were all just credited Lennon McCartney for whatever reason.
Yeah, I wonder why.
And then the Ringo ones are Ringo, and the
George
Clinton
Clapton.
ones are Clinton.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's just like, it's not the same thing, but it's like somebody wrote poetry and then gave it to like Ralph Waldo Emerson and was like, here you go, dude. I mean, it's not the same thing, but do you know what I mean?
What
like,
about
it's in that...
like, for a late night talk show, they're not writing their own monologue. I mean, I'm sure they're helping, but they have a team of writers who are writing with them.
I've never thought about that, but
yeah, I know.
But honestly, I do kind of put it in that same category a little bit.
Sure,
like, I am aware of the bad thing of it being like an Elton John. It's a little different because, like, God, it's that one's tricky because like Johnny Carson is very funny.
Oh, sure,
but he doesn't have the time to sit there and come up with 15 jokes per day or whatever.
Yeah, well, Britney Spears can sing very well.
She can sing very well. So that'd be like if Carson had really good timing, but just wasn't very funny.
Sure,
you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying Britney Spears and all those people like aren't good singers or don't have like they're very good, but I don't know. And it's such a small nitpicky thing for me to even care about. Sure. Which I concede. But yeah, just the fact that they don't come up with every song that they wrote is really like the thing. That,
Well, I mean, at least if you look in the liner notes, it doesn't say
thank everybody.
It doesn't say Britney Spears wrote this song. It's like
totally. And I think part of it is just like, well, it's not the same kind of product. Like they're not trying to be some folk singer, troubadour.
Sure. They're obviously not playing all the instruments. It's like they're not playing everything. Yeah.
Right. they are trying to put on a good show, and you know, and I think I just have to remember that, you know, it's not the same thing. And when you look at Jack White like writes everything, plays everything. When he plays on stage, he said that like he puts all the instruments and stuff just a little bit too far away from him, so that he has to like struggle when he's on stage. So he's always like present and paying attention. And,
Interesting.
Yeah. So like he's never just like sitting back like, all right, here's my next song or whatever. He's always having to focus on everything because it's just a little too hard.
That's fun.
Yeah, I have really enjoyed every time I've seen him in interviews, and really enjoy his music.
Is he weird? He's got to be a weirdo.
He seems like a weirdo, but he sat down with Conan for like a just straight up 1 hour interview once, and
I think they're like buds.
it seemed like they were at the time. And yeah, it just seemed like he didn't seem like a weirdo. He just seemed like a guy who was like really interesting, which could be, you know, he's a weirdo.
Yeah.
But yeah, like he started out as an upholsterer.
Whoa.
Like when he was like a kid, like growing like his first job or whatever. Like
that's fun.
Yeah. So they went off on like a tangent of like, could you upholster this? And be like, yeah, it'd be like, you know, this.
That's
like,
so cool.
Yeah.
There, you know, we just rewatched the first season of Great British Baking Show that's on Netflix.
I've seen an episode now, 1 or 2.
Oh, did you like it?
I thought, I did. I thought, what's his name? Paul Hollywood. I expected him to be Guy Fieri, but instead he was just like, no, it's just my shitty name. I'm a cool dude who knows everything about cooking.
Yeah.
So it's like, why is your name Paul Hollywood?
And her name is Mary Berry.
Yeah.
It's whack.
She seemed like more of a character than Paul Hollywood.
It's so funny because they build him up to be like this. They're like, oh, he's so harsh and he's so cruel, and then he's like stern but fair.
Yeah,
it's like
it's a bit tart.
Yeah, like
oh, yep, fair.
I would have liked a little sweeter.
Yeah.
The best thing about it though is if someone's like does a really good job,
okay,
Paul will shake their hand, and that's like whenever someone gets a Hollywood handshake, it's like that's like they like lose their fucking minds. It's so good.
That's like Carson gesturing for the stand up to come over and sit down with him.
Yeah, that's
Paul
exactly
Hollywood
what it is.
Seal of approval.
Fuck. It's. Do you know which season you watched? Do you remember any of the names of the people?
There was no, I don't. There was a guy, like an older Scottish guy I could barely understand.
Norman.
Sure. An Indian woman who they were like
Chetna.
Yeah,
she rules.
Yeah, they were like, oh, you done it again. Like the flavors of this are so good.
Norman was a bummer. That's actually the season we just watched.
Okay.
I'm not that much of a big head. Norman was very sad because he was like, this is just the way I've always made it, and I'm just gonna keep making it this way. And they were like, Norman, you gotta like do something cooler, because like the only reason you're still here is because every week someone else fucks up hard.
Just a little bit
and
worse.
It's like, this is solid shortbread, but it's just shortbread, and like everyone else is making crazy shit.
Sure.
You have to pick it up. And then like the next week he'd be like, put a little bit of lemon in it this time. And it's like, you old idiot.
That's so good.
We want you to do well. Just do well. But he was like, I'm just gonna do it the way I know how, and like this is the way I like it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's hard to blame him. He's like what, like 60s, 70s, like yeah.
Chetna rules though. She's the best.
She seemed cool.
She's
like everyone on the program it was like, oh, everyone seems like pretty cool.
What I was gonna say is that one of the dudes on that season, Richard, who won Star Baker more than anyone else in the history of the show, he is a builder, like his job, because they all have like real jobs, and they're just like amateur bakers. So he just like does construction, and that's his like fucking actual job. But also he just knows everything about baking. Weird, like
why? I'm down. I love that.
It's so strange. But he would also like always have a pen in his like behind his ear, or a pencil rather behind his ear, because that's just like his.
He just has it. He needs it always. Yeah.
He's great. He was my favorite.
There was a young woman, maybe she was
Martha?
like 17, 18. She was like still in high school maybe, or maybe she was in college or something.
Going for exams.
Yeah, whatever that means. Yeah, I don't know. She's getting her license.
Yeah. They're also good. Yeah. It's just such a charming, nice show.
It is very nice. I could do with a little fewer like puns or whatever of the two women hosts.
Sue?
Yeah.
Oh, they're so.
Which is like hey, you're having fun, and you're I'm sure like everyone on set is loving it, but I'm like, let's just get to the baking then. Like
it's interesting on Netflix. It's called The Great British Baking Show because in America, Pillsbury owns the copyright to the term Bake Off.
Okay, that's crazy.
So, in the British version, which we've also watched, extra legally, they, at the beginning of every episode, they're like, it's bread week on the Great British Bake Off.
Sure.
But on the Netflix version, it's like, it's bread week. Cut. Like, so
it's bread week on the Great British Bake Show.
it's like they never say the name of the show on the Netflix one because they just have to cut around it. And then when you win, you get a cake stand as your prize.
Okay.
And it just says Great British Bake Off on it. But they had to like digitally make it say Great British Baking Show for the Netflix version. And in the British version, most episodes will have a segment where one of the two hosts will go like, oh, we're making like Swedish pastries.
Sure. So
they'll
go
to Sweden and go to a bakery and be like, this is the history of this pastry.
Cool.
And they just totally cut that out of the Netflix
Oh,
version. Yeah.
Why would they do that?
I don't know. I mean, it's Netflix. Who cares how long it is?
Yeah. What could be the reason? That's so strange.
Yeah. It's
Maybe
very
they
bizarre.
use like special proprietary like Swedish songs that they can't get the rights to over here. A bunch of ABBA is what it is.
ABBA was originally a contestant on Eurovision.
I do know that. I wouldn't have got it right if we were in a pub quiz, though.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I'd be like, oh, I did know that. Like, yeah.
I'm a bit of a Europhile. I don't know if you can tell.
You should see a doctor about that. Are there other shows that are like your relaxing shows that you watch? I assume British Bake Off is like a relaxing, like,
yeah, man,
unwind and.
Well, Jessica and I were both just really sick over the weekend, so we watched The Office, which is like a comfort food show. Even though it's rough to watch now.
Really?
I mean, the whole show is about a fucking boss who's harassing all of his employees.
Yeah.
It's rough.
Yeah, you probably just can't watch
literally anything. Yeah,
is what I would do.
But I mean, it's tough. It's tough. It ain't great. I bet Parks and Rec is pretty good.
I mean, it has to be. I mean, it came out it had like a 4 or 5 year.
Yeah. Well, and the thrust of the show is like, it's not her boss harassing all of his employees. It's like politician trying relentlessly to do the right thing.
Right. It's a pretty big difference.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The thrust of the show. Again, I haven't rewatched that in a long time, so
I wonder if Community is like,
I bet
more bad than good.
I bet it's bad.
Yeah, don't watch anything. Just watch Terrace House over and over and over again.
I gotta get into that.
It's really good and nothing happens.
That's great.
Yeah,
that's all I want.
It's just really cool to see people just living. And the second season on Netflix is in Hawaii, so it's like, oh, cool. Like sometimes people are just speaking English, so I can get some idea
to read.
Yeah, finally I can give my eyes a break. Yeah.
That's
like,
awesome.
Most of the people in the house speak both English and Japanese, so they'll just like flow in and out between them sometimes.
I would
like if they get really upset, they'll start speaking English. Like, I don't even know what to fucking do.
I would love to know a second language so well that I could like fluidly go back and forth. Because right now, the rare times that I do like speak French, it's exhausting.
Just the mental energy it takes to, When I was playing Magic the Gathering a lot, I felt that, and it was so strange. Like you felt like really,
because you're just like, well,
because you're trying to process everything things that are happening and trying to think ahead and like, what does he have in his hand? What do I have? Things like that over the course of 4 hours, just straight. And that's just like little tournaments. I can't imagine being in some of the bigger tournaments. But anyway, just feeling like mentally exhausted. And you're like, what the hell? Like I didn't do anything. I just thought.
I sat here and talked. Yeah,
it's a weird feeling.
It sucks.
Yeah. So I guess we should just like stop learning.
That'd be great.
Yeah. And then we just, never mind. I was going to make like a political joke. And it's like, I don't even want to do those political jokes.
We can stop learning and I'll just listen to Britney Spears.
Thanks for bringing it back.
Femme Fatale. I think I don't think it gets the credit it deserves. I think people forget about it.
I've never heard of it.
It's good. I think my favorite, my top 3 Britney Spears albums, and this might be controversial.
I'm sure.
And this is not.
I'm sure.
Number 1. Well, I'll go 2 and 3, pretty interchangeable.
Okay.
Circus and Femme Fatale, both great.
All right.
Number 1.
Hit Me Baby One More Time.
No.
Is that even an album?
I think Baby One More Time might be the name of the album. I don't know. I'm also not I'm not as familiar with her early stuff because I don't think it's as good.
Well, yeah.
Blackout, all-time best fucking Britney Spears album. It's so
Why?
good.
Make a case for it.
It's the most raw. It's the one that she had the most input on, like creatively.
So stop tying her hands by making her songs. Here's a Katy Perry song. Katy Perry didn't want it. Do you want it? Okay.
Britney Jean was a disappointment. I was very sad about that.
Britney Jean.
Yeah. Can I? Okay. This is the last thing I'll say. There's I think my favorite Britney Spears song is like. It was like a bonus. It was like a bonus track on one of the on either Femme Fatale or Circus. It's called "Rock Me In." It's like the best Britney Spears song you've never heard. It's so fucking good.
I don't know. I haven't heard a lot.
Look at Blessed Poofball though.
Blessed Poofball.
Poor guy dropped his little ice cream. And he's like a 1960s business cat. And he's purring. Look at him.
Thank you for playing Arcade Audio. Play more at arcadeaudio.net.